As the citizenship saga aced another victim over the weekend, with one more following on Tuesday, the PM and his frontbenchers interrupted Remembrance Day ceremonies, red poppies in their lapels, to reassure us this was just another flesh wound. But the 11th of November anniversary that they should be paying more attention to could be the one that occurred 42 years ago, when a sitting prime minister fell foul of his own constitution crisis. No one is suggesting the opposition is conspiring with the Governor-General to seize power, but with the uncertainty set to drag out over the summer, real questions are emerging over whether we have a legally constituted government in accordance with Westminster principles. A big call, think about it. We have a legislature that appears riddled with people who are not qualified to be there, a list that will likely reach double figures if the universal disclosure process foisted on the Prime Minister does its job. We have a judiciary that has settled on a particularly restrictive interpretation of citizenship requirements, sitting tight for another round of referrals, likely to trigger a mass round of by-elections in the new year, if they manage to get a decision before they head off for their extended summer break. As for the executive branch, well, we have a prime minister prepared to preempt decisions of the High Court, incorrectly as it transpired, asserting a parliamentary majority that may not bear scrutiny. We have a former deputy PM who refused to step aside, compromising a swath of decisions he made while illegally sitting in his role. We have a Senate president who concealed his own ineligibility with the knowing acquiescence of at least one cabinet member. Not to mention a senior minister who has asked the AFP to investigate her own staff over the leaking of information linked to a politically motivated attack on the opposition leader from an agency she controls. Still think I'm being overawed as this week's Essential Report shows, the saga has eroded the Turnbull government's standing with the public. While our rolling average sits at a two-party preferred of 5,446, the standalone figures this week match Newspolls 5,545. If a federal election was held today, to which party will you probably give your first preference vote? If not sure, which party are you currently leaning toward? If unsure, which party are you currently leaning to? In the modern political context, this is as close to a repudiation of a government as the public delivers. Indeed, this would be the biggest 2% gap at a federal election since 1975, when the Whitlam government managed just 44.3% of the 2% despite the outrage of the dismissal. The crisis has also further driven down the approval ratings of the Prime Minister, who has experienced one of the most comprehensive turnarounds in personal ratings, from a positive of 33 points 2 years ago to negative 12 points today. That's a decline of 45%, meaning nearly a quarter of the population have changed columns. While the wave of coalition referrals is not of the PM's design, his response, first imperiously preempting the High Court, then his double standards on the treatment of members of his team referred, and his refusal, until Monday, to agree on a disclosure regime have all undermined his standing with the electorate and within his own party. Do you approve or disapprove of the job Malcolm Turnbull is doing as Prime Minister? In fairness, the crisis has done nothing for opposition leader Bill Shorten's stocks either, with hard-won gains to personal popularity in recent months being wiped away, as politics failings are portrayed in stark relief. But it's what comes next that should be exercising the minds of people seeking stable government in Australia. On Wednesday, the result of the same marriage postal survey will be released, and despite a process that most Australians had no love for, the strong likelihood is that there will be a decisive vote in the affirmative. Did you answer yes or no to the question, should the law be changed to allow same couples to marry based on those who have voted? If the results come in anywhere in this range, two things are clear. First, I can keep my job as a pollster. Second, there will be an expectation that Parliament can give effect to the will of the people. But already the Conservative rump of the Turnbull government has flagged its determination to torpedo the process, either through framing an unacceptable set of protections to override discrimination laws protecting home rules, or through contriving a need to delay a vote until the constitutional crisis is resolved. It will be this second argument that will be the more telling. If it is prosecuted, will a legislature that has members who could be ineligible have the authority to pass laws that change the fundamentals of our nation, even if it's for the better? And then there are the anti-union laws. The government has lined up attempts to increase the power of the Registered Organisation Commission, even as the AFP investigates its first abuse of power, or the pursuit to change super laws to give banks a better chance of gobbling up industry super. If a prime minister operating with a single-seat majority cannot be sure of the status of his own members, then how can he in any conscience continue to pass laws that will dramatically reshape the nation? I'm no constitutional lawyer, but surely if there ever was a role for the Governor-General, then this is it.